If you're a chiropractor or health professional looking to get to six-figure months or beyond, this video is gonna blow your mind with my proven 5-step process to get there. Let's go. Maybe you're one of the smaller percentage of our profession who's actually hit a six-figure month. It feels good, it's exciting, there's a lot of energy behind it. But maybe you've had a hard time staying there or getting back there. This video is going to give you my 5-step proven process that we have now implemented with hundreds of practices. And this is crushing their glass ceiling of six figures and beyond. So buckle up, I hope you have some pen and paper, it's go time. Step number one is gonna take a little bit of math, and if you haven't been in the data-driven ecosystem, these might be numbers that you haven't really calculated before. So I'm gonna walk you through it. I'm gonna go slow, I'll check in with you. Remember to post comments below if you need a little help. We're here to help you, we'll be watching for those comments. We got your back, don't you worry. So the very first number we're going to calculate is what we call your ACPV, and this stands for your average care plan value. This is the value of a new patient coming into your practice for that care plan that you're prescribing. And here's how you calculate it. This is kind of an estimate. If you have our software, our technology, it will give you this number automatically. But in this case, you're going to take your average monthly collections and you're gonna multiply it by how much of that is basically cash. So if you're getting about 20% insurance collections and 80% cash collections, we're going to take your total monthly collections multiplied times 0.8. So let's just say that a practice is averaging about $60,000 a month. We multiply that times 0.8, that gives us $48,000. You're now gonna take that $48,000, we're going to divide that by the number of starts. That's the number of patients that actually accepted a care plan and began that process with you in the practice that month. So let's just say in this example, that's 18 patients that started a care plan. We're gonna take the $48,000, we're gonna divide it by the 18 starts, and that gives us about $2,660 as your average care plan value. That means on average, to get to $48,000, I've gotta close 18 starts, and my care plan value is about $2,660, right? Makes sense so far. As we work with this with doctors, we have found time and time again that the more you are aware of that number, the more you're aware of what you're presenting to patients by projecting what they're going to need to go through care. That's care planning. It's showing all the services that they're going to consume over their visits. And some of those services will be covered by insurance if you're an insurance-based practice, and then they're gonna pay out of pocket for others. You're just sitting down and going through a financial presentation with them to get there. But those are for other videos. This one today, I just want you to get step one. What is a new patient worth in my practice? That's what you've got to identify. And so in this example, we now have those numbers. 60,000, on average, this practice is 80-20, 20% insurance, 80% cash. So you take 60,000 times 0.8, that gives us 48,000, divided by the number of starts that month, that's 18, gives us the magic number, 2,660. That's our average care plan value. And now that you have your average care plan value, let's move on to step two. Step two is knowing your NPAC. This is your new patient acquisition cost. Now think about it. In your practice, you've got new patients coming in from different sources. Some of them are coming in from internal referrals. Some of them are coming in from provider referrals. Some of them are coming in from your digital marketing. We want to really look at the average cost. So this is found by taking your marketing labor, combining that with your ad spend, dividing that by your total completed new patients. So let's use the example that maybe I'm spending $1,500 with an agency. I've got a $3,000 ad spend. This month I have now completed 36 new patients. We're gonna combine the $1,500 with the $3,000, that's $4,500 divided by 36. That gives me my new patient acquisition cost of $125. Remember, that's just our average. We're not, we can break that down per channel, but again, that's for some of our advanced tracking that our software automatically does for you, which is so cool. But in this case, you've got that number now, right? You have, on average, I'm spending $125 to get a patient. That means I might be spending $300 over here. I might be spending $12 over here. Again, we just want that average new patient acquisition cost. And for this example, $125. We got that number, okay? All right, before we go into step 3, I hear your like button. It's still complaining about its back. Are you serious? You have not adjusted that button yet? Adjust that like button, turn on notifications. Why are you not following this channel yet? Are you crazy? I am giving you gold. I want you to be a part of this community. So hit that like button, right? Let's go. All right, on to step number 3. And this is what we call your start rate, right? This is your KPI for the exam and case acceptance system. And the start rate is what % of those new patients actually started a care plan with you. And we really like to, in our systems, break this down to each step of your process. But again, I'm really simplifying this down for you. And I just want you to take the number of completed new patients divided by starts. So for this example, let's say we had the 36 new patients, we had 19 starts, we calculate that to its start rate, which is 53%. 19 divided by 36 times 100 gives us 53. That's 53%, pretty easy. Now that might sound low to you, but as we work with practices who aren't tracking their data, we actually find that the average start rate is right around 50%. And when you look at the attrition of a new patient from its consultation to starting a care plan, you may not be losing all 50%, right away, but there's an attrition. And we need to measure that. We need to know where your weaknesses are so that we can improve them and strengthen them. A 53% start rate you're going to see in our equation is one of the quickest ways we can improve cash flow in your practice, because we need a higher % of those patients actually accepting your services. But for this example, we now have that number. It's a 53% start rate. Let's dive into step 4, and this is now actually identifying the gap. And we're going to take those numbers, and if we take the average case value, the number of new patients we're attracting into the practice, we multiply that times the start rate, we're going to predict cash flow right around $50,000. And in your gap analysis, you're just going to identify what's my goal compared to where I am. And because we're trying to break the 6-figure month barrier, we have a $50,000 gap. It's that gap that we've got to find a way to close. Now, most practice owners end up, if they're not tracking these numbers, they just think they need to do more. They need more new patients. They need more appointments on the books. Well, that would mean in this situation, you would have to double your marketing spend. You would have to double your appointments of new patients coming into practice, which means you would probably need to double your team size. And that's not working smarter. That's called working harder. And you're not a data-driven doc if you want to work harder. That's a drifter. I want you to come back to the community and learn how to work smarter. That's what this community is all about, being a driven doc, following the driven framework. So now you're ready for the magic formula that is step 5, how to move your profit levers. Now, what is a profit lever? A profit lever is which piece of the equation is the easiest for me to move. And that's the really cool thing about this entire ecosystem that we've built, is training you, but more importantly, training your team to start seeing profit levers. That if I improve a process in my practice, it pays dividends by reducing the workload. We produce more with less, and that's what a driven doc is all about. So let's just say in this situation that we go ahead and decide that we ramp up our marketing, we improve marketing processes, we actually don't become so dependent on paid advertising, but we actually learn to leverage organic marketing. We get better at our internal referral systems. We get better at using Facebook organic marketing, which again, you're gonna learn in the challenge. In this example, we're going to reduce the new patient acquisition cost from the $125 down to $80. Now, the cool thing about this is we're not going to adjust the marketing budget. I want you to keep the marketing budget at the same. It's the $4,500. So think about this, $4,500 divided by the 80, we're now getting 56 new patients for the exact same ad spend. That's what we call a profit lever. Now in this situation, you're probably not going to be able to handle that increased volume of new patients from 36 to 56. So guess what you're going to need to do? You're going to need to hire. And the role that you're going to bring into the practice is a case manager. The case manager is now going to be doing your consultations. They're going to help process new patients. They're going to be doing some of the financial presentations. They're going to help you with flow. We can increase capacity of the system by bringing in this qualified team member. The next thing that you're going to do in this equation, the next profit lever, is we have to increase your ACPV, your average care plan value. We were at $2,660, and that's not very high. We want to move that up, and I'm, again, going to give you a moderate range of a care plan, which is $4,000. Now, the way that we move from $2,660 to $4,000 is that we get really intentional in the marketing. Those 56 new patients now, instead of just being, people with a headache that want to come in, or they have a little bit of back pain. No. These are patients very specific with complex cases. This is a patient suffering with neuropathy. This is a patient suffering with migraines. This is a patient suffering with discopathy. You've got to get clear. You have to build your authority on attracting those complex cases, and that is how you scale your ACPV. Now that you have that and you're building that authority, you've now improved your marketing systems, you've improved your patient education systems even before the patient showed up into the practice, right? Because you're a data-driven doc, and your now close rate goes from the 50% to the 75%. This means that we're increasing care plan value, and guess what? Patients in more pain are higher motivated to commit to your care plans. They begin to really see the value of not just getting out of pain, but healing, restoring function, getting their life back. Now, when we put these numbers together, are you ready for this? We've reduced the new patient acquisition cost. We've increased the care plan value. We've increased the start rate, right? We just moved 3 levers. And instead of the $50,000 of collected cash, you just collected $168,000. That's a 300% increase, guys, just by moving 3 levers. And the cool thing about a data-driven doc is you literally can dive into each one of these systems and find levers to move that you're just leaving money on the table. Don't be a drifter. Come be a driven doc. What would $168,000 do for you? What kind of team could you build? Could you afford to take a little time off? Could you take that family on a little vacation? Could you celebrate with your team by taking them to a nice dinner, having a backyard barbecue, taking them to, a fun place to celebrate the success? Because that's what this community is all about. It's about building success and being paid for what you do and deserve. Changing patients' lives is valuable, and you deserve that value. That's what this community is all about, and I'm going to invite you to come accelerate this process by joining our free challenge. It's a 10-day challenge where you get to learn these levers, how to be a part of this, how to scale organic marketing, and be a driven doc. Learn the driven framework. Click the link below. I will see you on the inside.